All right. Welcome, everyone, educators, to day 3 of Possibilities to Reality with Bennie Fowler 3, NFL football player as well as a Super Bowl champion. If you've been watching the first 2 days, please comment. Let us know that you're here watching with us. Or let us know too if you've been watching day 1 or day 2 what your takeaways are. I know that I have a page of notes here, Bennie, so thank you for sharing so much good information. If you missed day 2, no worries, you can go back into the group and you can watch it. But my recaps was really just the importance of saying I am enough to myself every single day and making sure that we're playing life to win and not playing it to lose, and just being really mindful of that. I liked, Bennie, when you had talked about we have to really reframe a failure and that it's important to step in and make sure that we're interrupting those thought processes or those beliefs that come into play. And let's see, what else do I have with my notes? We're all winning a lot more than we're losing, and that is true when I think about that. And so the importance of that win list and doing that win list every day or as often as possible is probably important to keep that into perspective. And then rate your day activity is very powerful as well. So thank you so much, Bennie, for sharing those tools, and I can't wait to hear what you have today. If you're here watching, feel free to post any comments or ask any questions during the live feed. I will make sure that I'm trying to watch them and that we can answer those questions here tonight while you're here with us. So thank you so much, Bennie, for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. That just sparked a couple different things that just came up into my mind, especially when it comes to limiting beliefs and things of that nature in terms of, reframing certain things. But if you're working with a limiting belief, Tony Robbins actually does a thing where it's called a tabletop method, and you write the limiting belief on a tabletop, and then you have the legs that actually support that limiting belief, and you ask yourself, is it true? So if you do have a limiting belief, ask yourself, is this really true? And then what's the support, what's the evidence that really supports it? And you probably don't have much evidence to support it when you actually really think about it. So it's actually a very, very beneficial tool. I didn't really plan on sharing that, but I think that just spur of the moment, I was going to be a little bit informal today, but when I really think about where I want to go next in terms of possibility to reality, I think about the importance of modeling. In Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan are two of my favorite athletes of all time, the late, great Kobe Bryant. And I love the way they just approached the game. It just felt like they always had this fearless mentality. And Michael Jordan, in the Last Dance documentary, actually said something very profound. And he said, why would I get nervous about a shot I haven't taken yet? So why would we get nervous about something that hasn't happened yet? We kind of sometimes make these things up in our mind where that will stop us from doing things. And we make up all these different scenarios. This might go wrong, or this might go wrong, or what if this happens? And actually, there's a stat out there that says 98% of the things that we make up in our mind before making a decision that we might actually go back on never actually happen. So I like that, for people to sink that in, is that, a lot of things that we're kind of making up in our mind most of the time, 90%, 98% of the time won't happen. So I think that's super important. So why would you get nervous about something, or a meeting or a presentation that you haven't given? Why would you get nervous about asking a girl or a guy out? These things haven't happened yet. So how can you eliminate that? And then ask yourself with those limiting beliefs, is this true? Well, I'm scared about this. Or I'm lazy. Is that true? What's the supporting evidence? Because you got out of bed today, you went to work today, you've done this, you've done that. So that's not true. It just might be true some of the time. So we have to be careful about these generalizations. And what it really comes down to is attitude. And I just showed you before we got on live today, just now, my dog Simba. And Simba has the perfect attitude in terms of going after his dream. And I love talking and sharing things about Simba because that's some of the mindset and perspective that I want in my life all the time. He has this fearless mentality. He wants to go out there and he wants to catch rabbits and squirrels. That's his thing. He comes out, he feels like he owns the block, and he's only 20 pounds, 25 pounds, but he gets excited about the opportunities every single day. And because I have the leash on him, he'll never get to those squirrels and rabbits, and they're a lot faster and quicker. But that doesn't stop him from having the right attitude and approaching his dream and his goal. So, how can we adapt more of that mindset when we're looking at our dreams and our goals? Regardless of the situation that we might be in, even if we're in a great situation, how could it be even better? But what is something to get excited about when we're looking at the goals every single day? Is kind of how we can approach the possibilities and turn them into the reality. Because we have to keep going every single day. This isn't, if I gave you $100 million right now, yes, that would be great. But then what's your gift to give back to the world? So money isn't everything, but how are we getting better? What's the process every single day? What's that 1% better every day? If we get 1% better every single day at the end of the year, it's 365% better. So how can we adapt that mindset and taking that mindset every single day, and also still giving love to the people around us, even if we're not in the situation that we want to be in? Every time I come in from leaving home, Simba's always there with the same love and energy. Why can't we have the same love and energy towards every single person while we're still on our pursuit of going after our dreams? Because we could be just one conversation away from achieving everything.
That is all just so powerful. It's all those little things, and if we do one little thing, it can compound to massive results, right? And just
Absolutely.
highly effective. Chris Smith had said, "Limiting beliefs will cripple your effectiveness," and
Yes.
that's exactly what you've been saying. And Chris has a coaching background. Was a teacher and educator. He's now retired, but coached for many years in the high school area. So,
It's
um,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. I like that. I think it's really important to ponder and reflect back. Like, is this really true? And I know that there's sometimes where my mind is like, no, this is really illogical. I mean, you said 98%.
The things that we think that might go wrong never really go wrong. Like if I think about going to give a speech, well, what if I'm late, or what if they don't like this, or what if they don't like what I'm saying? And then actually, in terms of the speech, what I'm talking about right now, I actually had a coach tell me the audience doesn't want you to fail, so you don't have to think about that. The people don't come when you're listening to a speech. People don't come to watch you speak and be like, "Oh, I hope he misses a word or he messes up." So that took fear away right there. And then
Sure.
also with the limiting beliefs thing, is it true? That's a question you ask yourself. And then if you think, all right, yeah, it might be true in this situation, but is it true all the time? And
Right.
100% of the time is probably not true all the time.
Yeah. So our thoughts can be quite illogical and irrational at times, right? Well, 98% of the time, probably. It's like we're
Well,
walking around
we
lying to ourselves, maybe.
yeah, well, we talk about positive thoughts, and I agree that we should always think positive. But at the same time, there's a part of your brain that's trying to protect you, and if you understand that you can't always think positive, your mind is just trying to protect you. Now, just come back to, you and I talk about mindfulness, and just come back to the present moment. Okay. You notice that your thoughts are here. Now come back to the present moment. But
Yeah.
just the whole thing now that, I used to be very big on positive thinking, and I don't want to ever think negative. And that's just not true. That's just not how we're wired. We're wired for fight or flight and this survivor mentality. And so your brain is protecting you. But are these threats real? I'm not getting ready to get eaten by a tiger or a bear. I'm just a little bit excited about something I really care about.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and I would imagine that's a habit that we have to get into. It might be something worth setting the alarm on your cell phone every day just to remind ourselves to get into that habit and checking in like, okay, this is what's been playing in my mind, and how true is that? How valid is that statement? And we know that our brains really don't know the difference between truth and reality, or truth and not truth, right? Like
Right?
what we fear, our bodies will respond as if it's really happening. And I know through some of my visualization processes that happens, where the mind goes, the body will follow, and how dangerous that can be, I think, to get caught up in that and attach that as if it's our own reality.
Yeah, definitely. You actually, if you think about it, that just sparked something for me in my mind. If you think about like being super mad at somebody, and then you asked them like what they were doing, and it didn't even match up to what you were actually mad about. But you just made up all these things and how you were going to respond, and then they were just like, "Oh, that's not what I was thinking or doing at all." It's just
Yeah.
like, wow. But your mind, all these thoughts. So what's real? Asking yourself, all right, what's real in this situation? What are the facts? What's the meaning I'm giving to this? Is
Mhm.
this serving me? And it's a yeah, I'm talking about this is a lot easier said than done, but this is a process. This is something that you work on mindfully every single day. And it's not, we're all human beings at the end of the day. We're not human doings. We're human beings. So I'm not a perfect person. It's not like I don't get mad or upset, but you know, there are certain ways and techniques that you teach that can help people align. And I think it's incredible. So yeah, we're always a constant work in progress.
Right. Right. And there's so much benefit to getting curious about that. Like whatever our mindset is telling us or what our body is saying or any of those inner beliefs. So just continue to get curious and check in with ourselves, right? And make
Absolutely.
sure that we're not holding ourselves back. We need to get out of our own ways. And I'm speaking about myself here even.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. We all need that. We all need that support system and to be empowered. I
mhm,
think, one of the benefits, I have three coaches right now. I have a business coach, I have a life coach, and then I have a relationship coach. Like, why would I not have coaches? I'm a professional athlete. I didn't get to this point in my life without coaching and training.
mhm,
And I didn't propose to my fiance just for us to get married and have an okay relationship in marriage. I
right.
want to have an extraordinary marriage and relationship. So that's what I try to help people do in terms of my coaching. Have extraordinary lives, live life on your own terms, and not feeling like you just have to be pulled in whatever direction life is pulling you in.
Yeah. Yeah, it is important to seek out that mentorship or your coaches or even have the people that you look up to. So you mentioned your coaching program. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So my coaching program right now, I'm taking clients. I have two more open spots, and it's at a very discounted rate right now as I will be getting ready for the season. But my coaching will be going to the end of June. We meet once a month or twice a month, depending on the schedule. And I got two open spots right now at a very discounted rate. So anybody can reach out to me via Facebook or LinkedIn in terms of coaching. And then I will share my online course, which is some of the mindset things I've talked about and more tools in terms of mindset that I just do at $10 a month because I want it's not about the money, it's more about the impact. But when you put some money into something, that's when you'll show up and you'll use it to your advantage and to the best of your ability. So I'll share that link with you as well.
That's wonderful. And that what a great price. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
offering that out here to any educator that feels like they would benefit from a coach. Chris Smith has a question.
Mhm.
He is asking, when you go out for a pass, what is your mindset as you approach your route?
uh, it really depends on the route. It really depends on the route. But I tell myself, what do I do better than anything? What do I do better than anyone on the field? And I win at the line of scrimmage. So I win at the beginning of the play. That is the thing that separates me from any of the other receivers. I don't care any other defender. So that's my mindset. What do I do better? I do better at getting open. So I think about more of the process. I don't actually think about catching the ball. I think about getting open and getting to the spot to where the quarterback can see me.
Okay. So can I ask you another question then based on your answer?
Yeah.
So for me, if I were to think I'm the best at something, I would actually feel like I have a very inflated ego. So what would you advise people to get past? Because I think what you're saying and your answer is really healthy, to
Mhm.
believe in yourself at that level. But I think many of us in society, we've been taught that now we're arrogant or that's egotistical to think that and believe that much in ourselves. So what
Do
advice do
you,
you have for us?
is that true?
Good. That's a good one. Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
be honest, like you have to have a little bit of ego to be successful. All successful people have it. So
Mm,
what's the real purpose? What's the real goal in your life or whatever you're going towards and for you to feel like that? If you want to have a thriving, successful business, you have to have a little bit of an ego. All successful business people do. Michael Jordan has an ego. Kobe Bryant has an ego. Serena Williams has an ego.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton has an ego. Michelle Obama, all these incredible people. Joe Biden has an ego. They're successful people. Successful people have a little bit of ego. They're not arrogant people. They believe in who they are, though.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I not believe I'm getting ready to play in front of 100,000 people? If I don't have an ego, then the guy across from me who does is going to win.
Right. Well, you
And then
certainly got there because you believe in yourself.
you have to believe in yourself. But yeah, I mean, you have to have a little bit of an ego. I mean, I'm playing a game where I'm in front of millions of people. So the ego is on the line.
Yeah.
And sometimes it hurts and sometimes it doesn't.
But in the end, ego is a really good thing and it's a very powerful thing to have and adopt and embrace and be
Mhm.
okay that we have that belief in ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have, if you know, I think about some of the greatest players that I've played with, a guy like Peyton Manning, yeah, he had an ego. Of course, it wasn't bad though. It's not like he would walk by people and make them pick up after him and do this and that. He wasn't that type of guy, but he had a little bit of an ego because he was confident in his abilities and what he can do. What does he do better than anybody else? What do you do that's better than anybody else? And that's not a knock. That's not an ego thing. I mean, that's what separates you. That's what makes you great. That's your talents. That's what God has blessed you with.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, if we could just instill that into educators all around the world and even the kids, instill that belief into kids. And Chris Smith had made a comment about that too. Um, if we can get them to work at what they're, or focus on what they're best at and really just be proud of that and be able to share that out with the world, I just think that we'd be in a much better place than where we are right now with some of the mental health issues and the way that's on the rise. So,
Yeah,
okay, so you
definitely.
said, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I said, yeah, definitely, definitely. They got to focus on their strengths and why they're great at what they do, and
Hmm.
to be proud of it. That comes more from a support system as well. That's not just them believing it. That comes from the parents. My parents instilled that. My mom instilled that in me, like from
Okay.
an early age. Like, well, mom, I don't know if I can do that. What do you mean you don't know? You haven't even tried.
Yeah, it's very
Comes down
powerful.
to it comes down to what you really want.
Hmm.
If you really want something bad enough, you have no choice but to believe in yourself. I actually wrote down in my journal today the quote, the writing prompt today was, I forgot who the quote was by, but he said it starts, if you want to achieve something, it starts with believing in yourself and you're already halfway there.
Yeah. Yes, I've heard that one too. And it is so true. It is about just well having that vision, that possibility that you talked about on day one, connecting to that. Just and I think you talked about that on day two maybe, and
Mhm.
then believing that you can, it's possible, and that you can achieve it. And it is just by taking that one simple small step, 1% every day at the end of the year. What'd you say, 365%?
This was impossible
Yeah.
10 years ago. This was what we're doing right now on Zoom was impossible. So
Yes.
I'll leave that right there.
So go for it. All right. So if anyone wants to connect with Benny further, if you appreciated what he had to say, I know I did. Thank you so much, Benny, for your time. You can reach out to him connect with him directly on Facebook. I'm tired. Sorry about that. Connect with him
No worries.
directly on Facebook, or you can reach out to him LinkedIn. He does have a couple coaching spots available, or the $10 program. And you can, oh, we have one more question. You can connect with him on that. Let's see. Can I ask you one more question, Benny?
Yeah.
Okay. How can we okay, Iman asks, how can we differentiate between ego and belief? Is there a middle line? I grew up constantly reminded that ego isn't good because it starts greed and is the opposite of humbleness.
Mhm. I mean, that comes down to a self-awareness thing. So there's like a class of experience. Is this good for you? Is this good for others? Are you giving back? So that comes down to the human needs, and that's one of the things that I work on with my clients. is that if it meets all your needs, it has to meet some of your needs. But if you're giving back and you're serving other people, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, if you think about, I don't know, what's a good example, or the reason why I got into coaching. Like when I first met my coach, it was all about me, me, me. My coaching program, I wanted to sell my online course for $1,000, a course that I'm selling for $10 right now. It was just all about how much money I could make. That's not, but it's not, that's not going to get me what I want. And now I come from a place of, I want to fill a basketball arena with or not millions of people, but at least 25,000 people with my own live event. So that's the place I come from now. So I do things like this, speaking with you, making connections. I put myself out there, and in terms of in terms of my comfort zone, in terms of speaking in front of people, making connections. And I made my course $10 because I wanted to reach millions of people. But I still have to have a little bit of an ego to think that I can put something out there that I think can make or change the lives of different people. If I
Yeah.
didn't believe in myself, then I wouldn't even put it out.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not being selfish, there are selfish people, but that's what makes the world the world. I mean, that's what makes life life. But that comes down to an awareness thing. Is this good for me and other people? It's a question you can ask yourself. If it's
Mhm.
only good for you, then that's where the ego becomes arrogant.
And is it true? No.
Yeah, and ask yourself, is this true? Like, is it just really just all about me, or am I giving back as well?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really the belief that what you have is to serve others. And I hear you saying it's healthy to have that belief system and that really solid belief system, is what I'm saying, where it's like deeply ingrained in us. Um, and it's still, as long as we're serving it, that's what helps it stay humble, and that's where it keeps from staying arrogant. And you're not saying that you're the best at all, you're just saying what I have to offer is something that's really going to help you, and so therefore you believe in yourself well enough and what you have to offer that you put it out there so that people can access it.
No, I do believe that I'm the best. I don't think I'm the only one, though.
Yeah.
I think that if you're doing something significant and something important enough, you have to have that feeling of the best. You don't get into anything, or you don't get to be a professional athlete if you never think that, or that you never have that idea. Now, you may never ever get to what everybody calls the best. Like, I don't even know what that even means. Like,
Right.
anytime somebody says that they're the best, that's all an opinion. They say Michael Jordan's the best or LeBron's the best. No, that's an opinion. No, no, only the stats would say that. And the stats don't even say that. So it's all an opinion. But no, I mean, one of my teammates, when I first actually got into the NFL, said, like, if you're not even out here to try to be the best, then what are you out here for? You don't try to be average. So what you have going on, inner matter, that's the best. You should think that it's the best. I think my coaching program is the best. It's not the only one, though. I don't think that people should just only come to me. I think there are millions of people who can help who are in the coaching space who are the best too. The best doesn't just mean just one person, but you should always try to be the best version of yourself. You have to try to be the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, I mean, that part comes natural for me to try and be the best version of myself, but I feel like I probably question more myself more than I believe in myself as far as being the best. But I do believe that Inner Matter has some of the best services to offer for sure. And I know that your coaching program is very sound. So thank you so much, Benny, for your time tonight and just over the last couple nights. It's been a fun journey, and I'm so grateful for the information that you were able to share out with educators and how we can help ourselves as educators, whether you're a paraprofessional, teacher, kitchen staff, administrator. This group is for you and to help you go from surviving to thriving. And I love to bring in speakers like Benny and offer different mindsets and perspectives and how we can help us help ourselves so that we can be the best that we can be for our kids today. So thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.